Hi everyone, good evening. I hope you're well. It's 10:42 in the UK in London. I hope you're well. So, I had to go to a thing this evening, so I came back a little bit later today, but just as well. I think for some time zone, this time is probably working better for some people. So today I'm coming back to this beautiful piece, Granny's Craft Room. So this is a kit, a cross-stitching kit I got maybe 3 years ago from Amazon, and I've been working on it ever since. And so let me just quickly show you what I've got so far. So this is the entirety of my progress so far. So it's 2 pages here, and I'm working on the third one. But today I've got a new plan on how to tackle this piece. So let me just show you the full markup here, so you get to appreciate its full glory. Look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the sort of color scheme, particularly around the desk and the shelf, that beautiful blue, is just to die for. So as you can see, you can, let me just remove the markup briefly. You can see that this little kitten sleeping by the window here. So with this piece, I actually started from the center. So I worked on the 2 pages that cover the snow globe and the kitten, and I'm moving downwards. And the plan is to complete 4 pages, and then I'm gonna start the back stitching. Yes, this piece has got back stitching going on as well, so it's gonna add even more details. And let me just briefly come back here. So today, what I'm going to do is, because previously I've been working on the third page down the bottom left here, and what I'm going to do is to start the top part of the fourth page simultaneously along with this one. I think it just feels better to complete to follow the actual design, the image here. So here's a wooden box, the little drawer, really pretty. And I'm going to just using Gemma's method, and I'll explain that a little bit if you don't know what I'm referring to, and start to work on the page on the right alongside with the left. So with this app, with this project, I'm using Markup IXP, and so I'm working page by page. So today I'm going to move to the second page on the right as well and start working from the top. And just to give you some idea of the scale of this piece, so you can see, so this page and that page in the center I've completed. Now I'm working on these two at the bottom, so you get an idea. And in terms of the size of the piece, I'm not going to go for, I'm going to tell you how many stitches because it makes my head spin. But this is the entire size of the piece relating to the part I've already finished. So a few more pages to go, and I'm patient. So the plan is to finish the 4 pages here in the center, and I'm going to start working on back stitches because I can't wait. There's just no way I'm gonna wait till the end of the project to do the back stitches. So today, let me show you my progress so far. With this piece, I'm on 8.88% completion. So every digit counts. The 8.888 is the point here. And I'm gonna start with 0 stitches. And my daily target, I generally kind of set around 300, but sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. It's just a thing there for, a goal for me to follow. So with that, I'm going to return to the single page mode and move on to the right of this page and start here. So let me pop my app back. My tablet here. And then I'm going to just quickly look at the chat here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sarah, Rose, Steve is here too, and Gail, hello, and Nikki as well, Nikki Stitchy, and River, and whoever missed, and Tracy is here, of course. Hello, everyone, so good to see you. Are you ready for a little spot of stitching with me? And so I'm going to just quickly, and I think someone mentioned the Heaven and Earth design is on sales today. Yes, so go grab your all these patterns you've been waiting for to get. Today will be a good day to do that. You can't have too many patterns, you know, just keep them safe in your folder and then you can work on them anytime. That's the best policy. And I'll definitely have a look later as well. And Opie Camry is here as well. Hello, everyone. I hope you're really, really well. And so this piece, the method of choice for me is what I call Gemma's method, which is stitch by stitch, easing away from the stitch area. So you probably notice there's no floating stitches anywhere. So I'm not going cross country. I'm not doing color complete. I'm moving stitch by stitch, following the color and start to kind of build from the edge. So it creates kind of quite interesting line here. So generally I'm following the diagonal line. So it just makes, you know, the thread management and everything a little bit better. And I'm parking as well. So I'm parking to the next spot. That makes sense to me. And this method is really, really interesting because there isn't hard and fast rules. The only rules you have is no floating stitches, you know, nothing floating away from the stitches, and generally very loose diagonal line. And that's it. And then you make judgment call. It's like playing a game, and you decide where you take your threads to. So I'm gonna start my game today, and so get your project ready, and power stitching session starts. So I'm going to give you a little reference here for the piece, the markup here. And then I'm going to start from this corner. Actually, I'm really looking forward to it because this method is about smoothing away sharp corners, and it makes it really fun to do. So I am going to just make sure that I'm on the right page here, because with Markup IXP you are kind of navigating page by page. In theory, you can do the entire piece, but it's slightly clunky. So I am relying on the app to guide me to the correct page. The worst thing can happen is you pick the wrong page and you start stitching it. That's no fun. That's not good. So I am going to select this page here. Yes, that's what I've got here. So this pattern, what is so unique about it is this was actually a paper pattern. So it came with a kit. The floss I'm going to be using today, I marked them as 14 count kits. These all the floss is coming with the kits, and I've got about 4 different kits from this same company during that period. And so I consolidate all the colors. They're DMC compatible here, and they stitch really nicely. The texture is slightly different. It's a little bit more matte, and comparing to DMC, but they're really good to stitch as well. So I really, really enjoy. And today I just really crave for a little bit of a 14 count action here. You know, sometimes when you work on smaller stitches for a few days, you just crave for that nice, big, beautiful stitches. So that's what I'm going to be enjoying today. So I am going to pick a color from the upper left. So I'm going to smooth out this color. And here we go. And let me know what you're working on today. I'm really interested in knowing. And so this is a new page the system will have to pick up. All the symbols. This is what the system markup has to do. Particularly with paper patterns, because it's manually. It's the system using the pattern recognition capability to pick up all the symbols correctly as much as it can from the paper pattern. So it's a little bit hit and miss. Occasionally I have to stop and kind of fix it, but it's all part of the process. I'm just glad that I'm able to stitch this pattern digitally, because I'm not a paper pattern kind of person. So I'm going to start with 355, 355, 355. That's our first color here. So I'm doing 2 over 1 full cross. Really simple. So today it's cooled down a little bit in London. There's a nice relief. And the place I live, the flat I live in, there's a lower level there. And normally, even in hot days, when you walk downstairs, the temperature drops quite significantly, sometimes up to 10 degrees. So when I go downstairs today, it actually feels a little bit nippy, which is quite a change from the last few days. You know, last few sessions when I'm sitting here, and I was literally sweating at some point. It's pretty crazy as far as London weather goes, or UK weather goes. The evenings are normally a little bit cooler. I'm definitely picking the right page as the color matches. That's probably a good sign. So it's just one stitch here. The next stitch is actually sort of diagonal to the right here. So you actually park. So this is really unique about this way of stitching, because normally cross country just keep going, right? Or if you do color complete, but this you have to be a little bit more disciplined, and you park in the next spot. And I'm going to pick the next color. So the next color would be 498. 498. So when you start a new area, the first few stitches will be pretty much planting your threads on the fabric. So there's a lot of new threads starting. So once you start to plant those threads, things become easier. I need to organize my threads a little bit, because as you pull the threads up, sometimes the bottom part gets crunched up, and if you don't tidy up on a regular basis, like I get lazy sometimes, they start to tangle a little bit, snag a little bit. Oh, Rose says, today in South California, here we're 104 Fahrenheit. 40 40 degree. Oh my God. I don't even know what it's like. Is it humid as well? That'd be lethal. Even worse. 40 degree. My goodness. Oh my God. South Arizona, Nikki Stitchy says it's 81. I hope that's Fahrenheit. Oh God. So 81 is a little bit cooler in comparison. In comparison to 104. I have no clue with Fahrenheit, but at least I know one number is greater or less than the other. There are quite a few people around me. They're still catching flu, having flu-like symptoms. So I hope I'm okay, because if my voice goes, man, I can't do anything. It'll be difficult to do the streams, and I won't be able to teach. Well, I teach yoga in case you don't know already. So, oh, hang on a second. Am I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh, I think I'm starting to make mistake here, because let me just have a look at what's happening here, because the start of the page is actually from this point instead, and I missed that. So I'm going to quickly have a look at the previous page to see what's happening there. Oh, I see. Now I know what's happening there. Okay, I'm gonna have to frog these stitches here. Thank God I didn't go much further, because there I was thinking that was a bit weird. There are three columns. Shall I go vertical columns? These are actually part of the previous page for some reason. I was wondering, it's not very clear because these are scanned from paper patterns. So it's a little bit hit and miss, but all I have to do is to cut this bit off, because loop starts very secure. So secure that you can't really frog it properly. It's quite okay. I think I'm okay for the first stitch. Phew. So I know what's going on here. I'm glad that I spotted it first. So 498, that would be this one. That's perfectly fine. Oh, actually, I could have left that stitch, actually. There's 2 stitches. So normally when I'm warming up, if I'm going to make mistakes, it will be about now. So let me just remove this one as well. In fact, let me see. That would be the cross symbol, and that would be over here. Whoops. Let me move over here. I'm just really grateful the app is allowing me to scan the patterns in, and it picks up probably about depends on the quality of the scan. I made a point of scanning them properly. I use a scanning app, so there's some auto correction there, so that probably helped. But I say it probably picked up. It probably 1, 2, 3. Yes, it's all good. It probably picked up in terms of accuracy. I say about 80%. So the remaining 20% I have to fix as I go. So that's just the way it is. And with this one, let me just double check the color. 498. 498. You need to make sure the color is correct. Otherwise, you're just getting more wrong as you stitch forward when it comes to parking. All good, all good. So, guys, do you think this winter is going to be warmer than usual? Or do you think that heat wave is going to just disappear and we're still going to have a regular winter? It's hard to tell. Because London weather, London winter hasn't been that cold for a few years. Most years we don't get snow at all. Even if it goes minus for, a few days. But majority of time, I think we're staying about 0, which is not too bad. So I'm going to complete these 3 rows first. The 3 vertical. Are they columns? I thought columns would be a bit fatter, a bit wider. But you know what I mean. So let me do these ones first. 1, 2. Park. And this one is A14. A14. My little cat is here. A14. Nikki asks, do you find the paper chart next to you? I think that may be a missing word there. Paper chart next to you to find the arrows doesn't pick. Oh, so basically it shows, let me just quickly show you what's happening here. So if you're interested in scanning paper patterns, this is what happens. So when it doesn't pick up the symbols are still there. It's more about not picking up when you search, when you highlight something. So let me go over there, for instance. And particularly with this pattern, the issue is it's got back stitches on the chart as well. So it's a little bit of a mess sometimes. So it's not entirely the app's fault. So as you can see, when I select, let's say I'm selecting this symbol there, if I look around, I can probably find symbols, the same symbol, for instance, this one. This is exactly the same symbol, but not being picked up because there is a back stitch symbol on top of it. And sometimes that's the reason, but sometimes it's not. And this app has got this slightly clunky sort of sensitivity of the color recognition bar here. So you can test it to see, oh, now it picks up this one, which is quite nice. But sometimes it doesn't, then you have to manually tap. Like that one is still not being picked up. So what I have to do is manually tap it, then it picks up. So visually, you can still see everything. So just like you do with paper chart, but it's more of the highlight function where, when you highlight a symbol, it's supposed to pick up all the same identical symbols there. Sometimes it doesn't pick up. And so there are various reasons. Sometimes you have to adjust the bar, but if you go overboard, you start to pick up other symbols that's similar to it. Let's say those little black squares, and so on and so forth. So it's slightly hit and miss there. So it's good to use this method because with cross country, you can probably miss quite a few unhighlight, symbols not being highlighted. But because I'm going literally edging out slowly, I can just scan the surrounding area of where I am right now and pick them up as I go. But yeah, there's some manual process is involved, but visually you see everything. Visually you don't, you don't miss anything at all. It's the search function that doesn't pick up everything sometimes. So it's about 80% accuracy, and with this, sensitivity function, that bar there, you can play with it, but you also need to be careful not to pick up all the other symbols that they're not supposed to be picked up. So A14. So markup is the only reason, paper pattern is the only reason I use markup, because in terms of functionality, kind of quality of user experience isn't the best. Let me just put it that way. So, if I'm doing anything of along the line of, if I use any digital pattern, really, I use Pattern Keeper, or now I use Saga as well. So this, markup, really, I only reserve it for my paper patterns. But of course, if you're on iOS, you don't have Android device, pattern, the markup would be the option. Or maybe Saga, if you want to use Saga. 1, 2, these two. It's okay, Nikki. Oh, this big and really big stitches. That's really good stitching. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So this is the method I learned from Gemma Stitches. As far as I can see, she's the only person that I've seen on, as far as, floss tuber goes, that uses this method. And she does it so beautifully and really fast as well, because technically it might slow you down because you have to park and switch thread a lot. But it's fun to do. It's really fun to do. So with this one, the next stitch is slightly away, so I'm going to end the thread. So it's a judgment call you make. You can take the thread. There's no strict rules about how far you can take your thread to the next parking area. It's up to your comfort zone, really. Some people might think 10 stitches is the limit. Some people can park away, 20 stitches away or more. I don't know. It's up to individuals. A14. Next one. So next one is a blend color. So this pattern in particular has got kind of blend threads as well. So two colors kind of similar to each other. There's 3 different combinations. So these are unique ones. that I place them on the thread card. But it probably just shows how intricate this pattern is. You know, these subtle differences, they make sure they incorporate really subtle changes. And you can only do so with 2-strand stitching. You know, you can't do that with heaven and earth design. You wouldn't work. Because if you work, well, if you work on larger stitches like 14 or anything requires 2 strands. But I think in principle they don't do any blend colors. Oh, Bicamerines. Bicamere is doing diamond painting. Oh, I've never done it. One of those hobbies I picked up during lockdown. I think everybody picked up new hobbies during lockdown. I certainly did. And diamond painting is one of the things I discovered during the period as well. I've never heard of it. I didn't know it was a thing. And I'm sort of fascinated by how it's done and how people enjoy it. Because literally you're placing beads on a sticky pad with some sort of tool. It's very interesting. Must be a modern thing. I don't think it existed. You probably can't find diamond painting from Victorian time. So I'm going to tease this out down. There you go. Again, the next thread is slightly far away, so I'm going to tuck it in. And I'll need to get some new embroidery hoops very soon because I managed to break 2 in the last few days. Because the issues is always the screws. If you use the screws for a while, and I tend to screw them really tight because I like a lot of tension for my fabric, eventually they just gave in. They break. And I managed to break 2 in a few days. That's really alarming. I'm going to pop this back. Bicamere says, I mainly enjoy the repetition. Yes, it's meditative, isn't it? It's a meditation. I totally get it. And I think that's why a lot of people enjoy stitching as well, even though there's probably a little bit more involved in terms of the method. But you can just go cross-country, just keep going. Then you don't have to think much about it. You know, with this method, you need to kind of think about it a little bit more, but it's part of the fun. So it really depends on what kind of mood you are. If you don't enjoy this kind of, you know, kind of chess playing process, then you just wouldn't do this method. And I don't know whether that's why there's so few people that I know of actually use Gemma's method. I was drawn to it immediately when I first saw it. It just spoke to me. So you part again because it's away from the edge. And you learn to be disciplined because in the beginning I just go, whoa, why do I have to park here? It's literally just, you know, next to it, adjacent. But you just do it because because this is the method. This is the game you're playing. I think this one may be 28. Let me pop it back. You can feel it. It's very, very thin. Let me find my needle holder. Occasionally the needles get mixed up, but you always know when it's the wrong size. So Nikki says, I'm such a rebel. I can't do Gemma's method. It would turn to cross country. I get it. I get it. It depends on the day, though. I wouldn't be able to do it every single day, but some day it just feels right. It just feels right. So, and some days I just crave for this way of stitching. It's a bit like dresses, isn't it? Sometimes you like certain type of clothing, sometimes you don't. Let me just make it a little bit bigger here. One, two, one, two, one here, one more. Some days, you know, days like this, I just crave for that kind of really solid, no boxed in stitches kind of way of stitching. It's just, but not every day. Not every day, for sure. Right, next one, I'll need to do some manual highlighting. Just make sure everything's picked up. So because these three stitches with space, actually 4, belong to the previous page. So I'm going to work it down a little bit more before I start expanding to the side. That's the plan. That's the plan. And with this method, I tend to turn on the diagonal line as well. Just give me some visual guidance, even though I'm not following a strict diagonal line. It helps to have that visual guide so I know which part needs a little bit more smoothing. So gradually bring everything to somewhat diagonal. River says, right now I'm doing sort of typewriter method. Pretty much enjoying that for today. Yes, I explore a little bit. I don't know whether you're here when I talked about that I went to Stitching Mummy's page to look at how she does it properly before I decide how to break the rules. But it was fascinating. I actually realized that I saw that video before, maybe a couple of years ago, or maybe longer. And so that method I'm aware of, but I kind of forgotten a little bit. And so I now know what she meant by typewriter. Essentially just a kind of symbol picking system, really. The next one is actually just one stitch, 3 3 2 8. 3 3 2 8, and I think I'll have to think about which project of mine would be benefited by that way of stitching. I think the nice thing about that method is obviously you allow the pattern to pick what to work on next, which could be fun because you're letting go of that decision making and just let the pattern take over. But at the same time, essentially you're doing cross-country, mini cross-country of some kind. So with certain projects, I probably wouldn't want to have boxed in stitches just for the ease of stitching. So that's something to consider. But also yesterday, I think Joyce mentioned another method, which I'm quite interested, which is, let me think, just make sure I say it properly. It's, I think it's a fields and frolicking or something along those lines. Fielding, frolicking. So you do kind of farming. I love the analogy. You have a kind of user-defined area, let's say 1 block. You do color complete, so you use that thread. If there's any left over after the color completion, probably most likely you do, you can just wander around and stitch wherever you want in the surrounding area. I don't know who came up with that. I think that was a name, but that sounds like fun. So you combine 2 elements together. You have that quite disciplined of color complete. Most of us probably have done. But if you have any left over, you can just go wandering around and just fill in the loose stitches around. So it's a bit of cross-country and color completion. Why not? Sounds like fun. 3328. 3328. Oh, Needlebug, hello. Karen from Needlebug is in the chat. Say hello to Karen. How are you? I haven't seen you for a little while. The other day you just popped up at the end. I was like, bye, Karen. Hello and bye, Karen. Pretty much at the same time. And 402. 402. 402. Janelle says, I have tried this method, but my head and hands won't let me stop. When the stitches the same symbol next to it. Exactly, that, Janelle, I think you're referring to Gemma's method. I know. It's weird because in the beginning, when I started kind of learn how to do it, I kept asking myself, why do I have to park here? Why am I stopping? But I think it started to make sense to me when it really depends on whether boxed in stitches bother you. I think that would be a kind of, determining factor whether anybody will want to stitch this way. And occasionally I don't mind. There's certain projects. With this project, I actually did the page above cross-country as well. Well, is it cross-country or color complete? No, I did color completion with each color. So that was interesting to do. But what I left at the end is a lot of leftover loose stitches everywhere on that page. And to be honest, I didn't calculate the time, but I think the time that took me to go around to fill in those loose stitches, probably almost as long as I spent stitching the page, to be honest, because when you do color completion for the page or a certain area, it's pretty fast. But the issue is the final part of it. It wasn't enjoyable for me. And I'm always one of those people who like to stitch kind of with a lot of space around the area rather than, having to stick my needles in really tight area between the fabric, the stitches. So for me, this method makes sense, because for me it's a big plus when I have, every stitch I make, there's at least, 2 or 3 corners free, which makes stitching very enjoyable, and also probably makes the stitches look nicer. I know it's a really detailed thing, but if you look closely, everything's nice and flat, and also the back is nice and flat as well. So for me, that's the big attraction for me. And I think for Gemma as well, she talked about boxed in stitches. She didn't like it. So that's where our minds kind of meet, and the method kind of makes sense. So the extra time that you park and rethread, it's worth it for me. But if you don't mind, then yeah, this method is probably not making sense to you. 3822, lovely yellow here. Hey Joyce, hello. Joyce is here from Stitchy Dutchy. Oh, we have 2 greats here in our chat. We should feel so honored. Are we worth it, everyone? We have Karen, we have Joyce. So, which probably means we're going to learn a lot today. No pressure. No pressure, Karen and Joyce. You don't have to teach us anything. You can just relax. Janelle says, Karen calls them dirty stitches. Are you referring to those loose ones? Sort of embedded everywhere within the area. Oh, that was so painful, the last page. Maybe that's why I decided to switch to this one. Just to recover from that process. Let me cut this bit off at the back. Karen says, right now I'm color completing with within the column. Vertical column, straight or diagonal. No parking. Run the length of floss till gone. Okay, mini cross country. Or run out of symbols, then pick the next color. Is it just a vertical, like 1 block area? Interesting. So mini country within the area downwards. And if I remember correctly, Karen, aren't you the OG of diagonal strip by strip method? Have I remembered that wrong? I remember maybe that's how I found you initially. I was looking to diagonal stitching method. And this one here. Let this remaining bits go. It's a little bit fluffy, unfortunately. Rever says, I've already learned so much from Karen. It blows my mind. Needlebug says, Karen says, dirty holes are the ones that already have been used 2 or 3 more times. Clean holes are empty. One pass. Are we talking about these corners? When you say holes, like, so this one, for instance, it's been used 2 times. Is that what you're referring to? Dirty holes. Dear, oh dear. These terms need to be clarified, or, you know, you can get a very different impression. Oh, Field and Frolic, that's it. Joyce will know about that. I'm gonna stitch the one down. Oh, I might be really cheeky and maybe do all 4. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope Gemma will approve. 1, 2, 3, 4 is more color flow, 2.0 method based on the original method. I haven't found my footing on that one, but who knows? I might. 1, 2. And I think I might park it over here. So these are the judgment calls you have to make as you stitch, and it's so much fun. So Joy says, I'm color completing power page. What's a power page? Using markup RXP to select color from left to most. And when the cookie is done, what are we talking about? I'm so confused. I mark it on our pattern keeper using select or unstitch on page. You need to explain a little bit more for my brain, Joyce. I'm not understanding that. Oh yeah, needlebug. Yeah, Karen, exactly. On the diagonal row. Yes, you did row by row. I remember now. I remember thinking, my God, not only the diagonal lines are completely clean, you also did it by row by row. I thought, wow, my God, what kind of superhuman can stitch like that? Yes. Yes, I think that's how I found you. Because I was looking to different parking methods and stitching methods, particularly diagonal ones. Let me see which one this is. And that method is so neat, though. I think it's really good for maybe quite confetti area as well. Because you're really just dealing with one row at a time. So you're less overwhelmed. 720. 720. When I refer, a hole is the corner of the square. Yes, I figured that out. Carrot. Autocorrection is invented by devils. There's so many sort of typos or like incorrect words being used. Probably break up friendships sometimes or marriages. Just one stitch here. And I'm gonna end it. So Gemma tends to end her thread with a pin stitch away from the stitch area, and she will actually do it twice for each end thread, which is remarkable. Generally, if I can get away from pin stitches, I do, because I don't like the pimple look, you know, scatter away from sort of on the canvas, on the fabric. But it's just a personal thing. But even if I do, like these ones here, I do. I only do it once. There's no chance of me doing it twice. It's just too involved. Too involved. And I rarely have sort of stitches kind of, you know, come loose. I haven't noticed that. But what I normally do is take it away a little bit. This is what you're supposed to do anyway. So if you know, any chance of it, the some end threads coming loose, you will get caught by other stitches. So it's all good. Right. Which symbol is this? I can't even see with the back stitches. I think it's a circle. I think that's what it is. The thing with markup RXP, just a little bit sluggish. Whatever you do, there's a slight delay, which it shouldn't be there with modern apps. It really shouldn't happen. 3853. 3853. Do have one threaded. Kelly, hello. Kelly's quilt and cruises. What a combination. She says, hello, Yogi. I see a few familiar names in the chat. Greeting from British Columbia, Canada. Wonderful. Welcome. Yes, there's some familiar names on the chat today. From Canada. I think Gemma is from Canada as well. Just one stitch. There you go. The tuck-in method is pretty secure as well. And you can't see anything, which is why I like it. One stitch. 3A53. And next. Oh, so Gemma is in Alberta. Ha. Got a few stitches here. Hooray. Hi, Lisa. Lisa says, hello, everyone. Another viewer from British Columbia. Wow. From Canada, Kelly, I'm in Salmon Arm. That's a great name for a location. I didn't know salmon has arms. That's fascinating. And Karen says, I come up just a few squares away and do a small stitch. Is it pin stitch? And then clip thread. Yes. I like to keep it as simple as, try not to do things I don't need to. I think pin stitch twice is just not my thing. I'd just be fighting it. I'll be going, if one is enough, why am I doing two? So the less I need to do, the better. So this stitch is sticking out, which I'm allowing myself to do. So in theory, you shouldn't have this stitch sticking out if you're the purist Gemma's method. But I think even Gemma sometimes breaks her own rules sometimes. So I'm allowed to. And one more here. Lisa says, we have a large lake here with 4 arms of it. I think that's where the name comes. The houseboating capital of the world. Oh, goodness. Houseboating. Fascinating. But don't quote me. You can be proud. I'm sure it is the capital of houseboating and stuff like that. I'll take your words for it. So houseboating, I presume, is the boats you can live in. Is that correct? We have those on sort of Camden and stuff. There are a couple of canals in London. Sometimes some people, it's cheaper than buying houses. I think some people just decide to live on the river. I think you have to pay some sort of rent for the space. But other than that, you've got a tiny little boathouse. Oh, Karen, are you referring to your stitch comment? Let me have a look. I'm trying to catch up there. And let me just pick another needle. So, Karen, I'm taking your a sort of wisdom there. Now, when I have trouble threading, I just turn the needle over. It works. What do I expect? Of course it works. Yes, because normally I'll just pick up another needle, but probably just by chance, I turn the needle, the eye the other way. But according to Karen, if you have trouble threading the needle for whatever reason, just turn it to the other side. Just flip it over to the other side of the eye. And for some reason, magically, it will thread properly. It's magic. Hang on. There's a couple more here, a few more down here. Let me finish these two. I'll go to have a look at the comments. There we go. Oh, Karen, yes, I see there's another comment about. Karen says, recently I started ending my thread by bringing my needle up underneath of my last completed X in the middle. Trying to visualize it. I start ending my thread by bringing my underneath of my last completely X in the middle, then slide the needle under the X and then back down into the fabric. Isn't that the tuck-in method? I tend to do a lot. You just kind of find a stitch area, pick a stitch and then just slide the needle under and then push the thread down. That's one of my favorite methods. Is that the one that you're describing? Oh, Karen says Bohins. Is that how it's pronounced? Bohins all the way. So it's a brand of needles. Apparently, it's Karen swears for that. It stitches like butter. I'll always remember that one. That will be the only reason that I buy those needles. I want to stitch butter. Who doesn't? this is great. There are quite a few stitches of the same color together, which is always precious to have. So you don't have to switch colors constantly for a little bit. Let me see, one row here. And then 3 more here. Oh. Three more. So Karen, watch this, Karen. Is this the one you're referring to? I'm going to end this thread here. Just make sure that we're talking about the same thing. So this is my last stitch. I'm going to end this thread. I'm going to just, I can pick any thread, normally somewhere away, but let me just do it in the next stitch. I come up one corner, normally the bottom right, and then I put a needle through the middle of the X there and stab it and bring the thread down. Is that what you're talking about? If so, this is my favorite method. I've been using it probably to with most of my projects, but it has to be full cross because I find half stitches quite hard to end it this way, and which will be a good time for me to ask Karen and Joyce as well. When you do half stitches, what is your thread ending method? Because I haven't found a sort of elegant way of ending it. It's been slightly clunky, so I need some advice there. How would you end your thread with 10 stitches projects? Help. Or anyone on the panel of chat, panel of judges. If you have a great method that doesn't require a lot of messy tails, then please let me know. Oh yes, Karen. Yes, that's what I call a tuck-in method. I don't know whether it's got an official name. Yeah, I just find it really clean, and it doesn't create a lot of sort of bulk underneath the work as well. So I do like it. Yes, I agree. Oh, do you not do half stitches? I think Joyce does, doesn't he? Oh, Joyce, do you not do 10 stitches? I have this, maybe I remember it wrong. I thought I've seen you doing that. They always look like they're fainted. They're fainted. Yes. There's some design, some patterns. It actually works, I think, for 10 stitches, or maybe smaller stitches, maybe 22 upwards. You can probably get away with 10 stitches and still looking pretty full, but otherwise, yes, it's can look slightly fainty. 355. 355. But you know the dry flowers project I've got, that one works really well with 10 stitches. It's got that, you know, sketch-like feel to it. That's kind of quite perfect. But if you want something that looks really, you know, rich and full, perhaps, you know, you want to do a full cross. Oh, Nikki says, I tend to puncture the fabric and snip. What do you mean by that, Nikki? Please elaborate. I'm presuming that you're referring to ending with 10 stitches. Because currently, most of the projects, I just take the thread 10 stitches away, bring it out and tuck it, you know, anchor it down. But it does build a lot of bulk underneath. And it's messy because, you know, if you park as well, then they start to fight with each other. The end tails and the park threads, they start to fight. And, you know, it's not good. Two here. River just hit 75% on elegance in the park. Beautiful. That's a beautiful piece. We saw it the other day. Yeah, I agree, Nikki. I 10 stitch on 25, and to be honest, I probably can't tell the difference if you know, kind of step away a little bit, which we do when we look at a piece. CXC, yes, I think if you want to do 10 stitches, CXC is your best choice of floss. Two more underneath. One here. There you go. Oh, Nikki, you're doing 1/1 with 10 stitches. So on 32 counts, do you get a good coverage? But 32 is tiny, so you'll probably be okay. So you do pin stitches. Oh, but how do you do pin stitches on 32 counts? I have problem even with 25 counts. I just I just can't find enough fabric to do a pin. And oh, you do a loop pin. Okay. So River will do 10 will end the 10 stitches with a loop end, which is kind of a loop loop end, like loop start, but you can do it without, well, you can create a loop yourself. Oh, and put through the loop twice. Interesting. And then tuck it down. Interesting. I think one strand. Do you do it with two strands? Because when I do that with CXC, because the the threads are so full body, if I attempt to use two strands of CXC doing a loop end, it gets snagged a lot. There's so many times I literally have to fight them off by snipping everything off. So I got fed up with it. Because sometimes the threads just get jammed when I try to pull them down. And it's not pretty. Single strand might work. Might work okay. I'm gonna end this thread here. Beautiful. I might move over to the second page, the page next to it, and start working on this area here. And this time, it should be correct. All right. Now, 355. And drinks of choice today again is some Diet Coke. I'm sipping, and a cup of Coke coffee that was left over earlier on, and some water. And from here, now this should be correct this time. Four, 9, 8. 4, 9, 8. Hello, baby dolly. 498. Dolly's here to say hello. Oh, night, Joyce. It's bedtime for Joyce. It's good to see you. Have a lovely sleep. Joyce is in Europe, So it's kind of late over here. Oh, past midnight. 12:07. Two. Hi, Crystal. Crystal says, I just found your channel today. Very well done. Very well done. Welcome. And I'm going to take it back down here. Janelle, it's 4 over here as well. We're past midnight. So it's Karen's birthday, is it? No way. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Karen, Needlebug. Happy birthday to you too. And the next one, I'm going to park it over here. Oh, Crystal is from Canada as well. So we've got quite a few visitors from Canada. How lovely. And I'm stitching in a method that's created by a Canadian stitcher as well. How appropriate. It's Canadian Night. A38. 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 Let me see. A38. Whoops, I've got a moth. Moth here. Hello, please go away. We don't need bugs. We've got needle bug. We don't need real bugs. Whoops. Needle bug. Inverse the numbers. 47. Absolutely. Why not? Ashley, hello. Viewer from the US. I started cross-stitching a few days ago. You mean like literally from 0 to cross-stitching? No way. Wow, well done for finding this channel. Let me know what you're working on. I'm really curious. If you're just starting, what would be your choice of the pattern or project? Amazing. And these ones, 2 stitches. Let me see. And then pop down to the right. one more here. Ooh, nearly broken the rules. I just wanted to keep stitching. Slow down. There you go. Let me start working on the page next to it. So. Crystal says, Kelly quits? I think so, but I don't usually talk much. Oh, where is that? I'm trying to catch up with the chat. I'm pretty sure I just went straight in the middle of a conversation. That's why it doesn't make sense. Oh, Ashley says, I did a carnation kit for my mom's old stash. I made a Pinterest board for some patterns, and I've done a few flat patterns once I was done with a carnation. Yes. Most people probably start from some sort of smaller pieces of samplers or something that mum left over. Absolutely. That sounds good. And these two, okay, I'm going to leave that. Oh, actually, I love crocheting as well. I love knitting. I think all these things somehow, you know, people who like one of these things tend to like the others as well. Because they're all relaxing and they're fun to do, aren't they? And I learned how to knit from my mum as well and crochet as well. Very relaxing. And it's functional as well, because normally you're making something that you can use, you know, like a scarf or a blanket or dare I say a jumper or something, you know, like a sweater. It's functional craft. To here. And I'm going to park it down here, just next to it. Hello, Anna. Anna says, hi there. Lovely greeting from Germany. Hello. So you're in the same time zone as me. So happy Friday. What Friday? I just noticed his life was sprawling around just before trying to get some sleep. Oh, well done for finding Luciano. Thank you, Anna. This is a lovely, lovely pattern here. So Kelly's been quoting. Yes, I'm the opposite. I can knit and crochet, but quoting is like, particularly those hand sewing ones. I'm terrible with hand sewing. It's just like, not my thing. I can use a sewing machine, so I can probably quote with the sewing machine, but hand sewing, no. I just get really frustrated. Just one over here. Oh, Crystal, if you want to work out, if you want to know stuff about diagonal stitching, we've got a great person here in the chat. Ask your questions to Needlebugs. It's her birthday as well today. And she's the OG of the diagonal row by row stitching. So you're in the right place. Right place. That's how I found her as well. I was trying to figure out how to stitch diagonally with different methods. 1, 2. Left. River says I can crochet when I knit. We can't have everything. It's always something that we can't do or not enjoying, you know. Everyone is so individual. So there are 2 stitches here, this color. Ashley, yes. But you know, with sewing machines, if I don't use it for a little while, I literally need to kind of have a kind of crash course, like a quick, refresh. Because when it comes to machines, I just forget how to operate it. But, like how to thread the thread through, like what order. I mean, most sewing machines probably have guides, but yeah, I always forget how to do it if I don't do it for a while. And just 1 stitch here. A sip on my Coke. Yeah, same here, Rose. It's I used to be, I think prior to the lockdown, I used to just cycle through a whole bunch of things I liked. I do a bit of felting, making like a little animals with felt, or I knit, I crochet, or I sew something. But since I discover particularly full coverage, I just do less and less of those because most of my time is stitching. And also it's so easy with stitching. You don't need any machines. You just need a needle and some floss and you're there. There's no special things you have to do. You just pick it up and do it. 7:20. 7:20. I feel a little bit of runny nose coming through. I hope not, because that would be disastrous, as I have classes to teach. Let's hope it's just temporary. One stitch here, the other one over here. Quoting is a little bit trickier for me. I've seen people, I've seen on Instagram, I've seen people literally just improvise with the fabric. Have you seen those? They just use a sewing machine and then just grab pieces of fabric, not even cut in any particular shape, and they just turn them around, sew through, create triangles and whatever, and in the end you end up with a beautiful piece of quote. I don't know how to do that. I can just about sewing a straight line, and I'm very proud of that. That's enough for me. And I'm going to maybe park over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Crystal. I do a lot of that as well. Is watching someone else stitch real time. You really learn a lot because sometimes you can have like tutorial videos. They go, well, just do this and that and the other. These are the rules. But until you actually watch someone stitching a real project, and there's so many really nuanced stuff. You just, it'll be hard to learn. So I absolutely agree. I just love people actually, working on a a piece. And also it's great company as well. It's like, someone else is stitching with you. Absolutely. one here. I'm thinking whether to take it up. I think I'll do that. Take it up there. Absolutely, Rose. I think for people who don't stitch, there's just no way they're able to kind of understand what's going on. It's just not making sense. And you can't blame them because this is such a unique and intricate thing to do. And as I was speaking, I stitched in the wrong place. So I'm going to move it down here. Crystal, are you referring to the Jelly World? If so, I think someone on the chat recently is doing it. I can't remember who that was. One, three, good. And going to park it over here. Yeah, that was Rose doing it. Oh, there are different souls. Drinks on the beach. Interesting. Let me have first Coke. So we've got an entire row of the same color. Yay. River. Try to mention full coverage heaven and earth pieces they're working on a dinner party and see what happens. If you want to clear the room, that's one way of doing it. So tell me how do those souls from heaven and earth work? Because jellyfish, not jellyfish, Jelly World, as far as I can see, watching other people stitching, it's not a small piece, is it? It's a fair size. So do you just finish that one? So do you have to finish that pattern in time, whenever that is, before you get the next pattern, which is very different, or is it part of another part of the same pattern? Because normally stitch along, you just get a partial, like one part of the pattern, and then they keep sending you more. But the jelly roll is actually quite big. It's not big as in heaven and earth big, but not heaven and earth. Yeah, it's heaven and earth. But how do you get that stitched by the deadline? I think it was end of the year or something. It's just no chance I'll be able to do that. Okay, Lisa says, I'm also doing Jelly Roll. You have to finish 6 pages to get all the patterns in Sew. If you finish the entire pattern, you get to choose another pattern for free. So when you say Jelly Roll, it's a complete pattern, or is it part of, or they give you more of that pattern? So the pattern is 6 pages, which is mini, essentially, because mini is about 7 pages overall. Heaven and Earth mini. And you have to finish it by a certain time. And they give you another pattern, like a different one. That's hardcore. You have to be like, the lady yesterday, was it Linda, who stitches like, a couple of thousand a day or something. You probably have to be on the Olympic level to even have a meaningful progress. Not like a slow jogger like me. Might be here for years. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Ah, okay. So Jelly Roll is a complete piece. It's the biggest piece with 90,000, over 90,000 stitches. Dear, oh dear. So you pretty much have to just stick with one piece and just stitch the hell out of it before anything else. 2 here. I'm going to bring it down to the right. 1, 2. Here. Oops. Right, so for the sole, you can choose any one of them to start. Is that correct? And then you just get, if you go all the way through, you get all the patterns. Oh, Karen, thank you. Have a great night. Yes, thank you. Thanks for dropping by. Say bye-bye to Karen, happy birthday one more time. Yes, it would be great to have you again. Enjoy the rest of your day, Karen. That one. So Lisa, so if you miss the deadline, what happens? Do you then just get kind of drop out of the race, or can you catch up? I've only done SAL once, a couple of years ago, with a company called Caterpillar. They mostly do kind of quite simple sampler type of thing, and I thought it was fun just to do that. So the piece was, I think it was broken up in 5 or 6 pieces, and they send you one piece a month. And it's a picture of kind of British Isle, sort of different parts of Britain, and kind of symbolic things of that area. Like you have, I don't know, I can't remember. Was it some fish and chips from Yorkshire or something like that? Really kind of obvious things. So it was relatively easy to stitch, 2/1 full cross type of thing. But I kind of just lost interest after the third piece. I kind of just go, oh, never mind. So the first 2 I was really keen. I was, stitching on time. I was on Facebook. I was comparing notes with others. And then I just, I kind of just dropped out. I still haven't finished it. Right, this one I'm going to end the thread here. Rose says, if you don't complete the 6 pages, you just don't get the 12 charts. Ha! Right. So do they charge you for each piece as you move forward? So you're not going to get charged for the entire thing if you don't finish. That's brutal. That's pretty brutal. Now I know why I'm not part of it. Which is probably just too stressful. Particularly I'm such a, I do switch projects so much. 3A22. Three A22. One page at a time. Yeah, or one stitch at a time, really. One page just seems like an epic step. Wow, that's so involved. You have to be pretty confident with the speed you stitch to do saws like that. Because most stitch along, they're smaller pieces, no pressure type of thing. not with Heaven and Earth. They're hardcore. They're Olympic stitch along in the stitch along world. Just one stitch here. A22. Rose says no charges. You just buy your selected chart for $15, and then they send you 4 pages at a time. So if you pick Jelly World, I thought Jelly World was 6 pages. So you just pay for 1 at a time. Right. $402. Oh dear. 402. Why am I getting all the weird symbols? 402. And does it go on for an entire year? So if you were to complete the whole thing, is it like a year away? Oh my goodness. It's very involved. Okay. Just one stitch. End it here. $402. Honestly, sounds so stressful. Thank God I'm doing my own picture. It's adorable. 250,000. Oh no, 25,000 stitches. Nothing too big. Well, it's not small, Anna. Yeah, we just start to have this idea that unless it's like 500,000 stitches, it's not big. No, it's big. 7 pages, even mini size is big. 720. 720. Bit of orange here. And Anna, when you say your own picture, does that mean that there's something you charted yourself? That'd be quite amazing and brave at the same time. And stitch starch. Oh. Oh, Rose, you're starting Vintage Baker this weekend. Amazing. I'm a pattern pusher. I am. Pusher is my middle name. Yes, very well done. It's a beautiful piece. I love it. Such a delicious pattern. And did you go for the regular or I'm not sure if they've got max colors. Sarah says I'm now almost 70% complete on a 448,000, no, 44,000 44,000 stitches of hate. 70%. My God, when will I have 70% of anything? Even with mini. So Anna made you use the free to use chart creator pages online. Ha, amazing. Never tried that. Not brave enough. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Hope you have a nice rest of the day. Thanks for dropping by for the chat. And 355, 355, 355. 448,000. Did I read that wrong? Number is not my forte. Oh my God, anything beyond 4 digits, everything starts to get a little bit blurry. Yeah, pattern creation is, you probably need a little bit of courage as well, because ultimately, even though the app can simulate stitches, but ultimately you don't know how it's going to turn out until it's stitched. You know, the color combinations and everything. It's pretty brave thing to do. One more at the back. Stitching out of order here. And 498. 498. Okay. And okay, I'm gonna start here. Yes, Steve. Anything with a lot of sky or ocean or trees. It's kind of It requires willpower. That's why sometimes I start from the middle, because I just can't wait to stitch all the background colors before I get to the center. So I cheat. But some people like to start from the center because it makes sure that you have, the piece will be at the center of the fabric. Or something like that. Two. So, Crystal, are you referring to older videos of this channel? If you are, they're actually not very old, because the channel it's only been around for about maybe just around 3 months. Right, I'm going to park over here. Just zoom out a little bit. Ooh, just appreciate the little drawer being stitched here. It's a great idea to move to the next page and start down here. It just feels more complete rather than having kind of a hard stop here. It feels a little bit weird. So this is a great move. Yogi, great move. Yes, Crystal, exactly. When I looked at the pattern, if you look at the entire, the full pattern here, let me just quickly show you. If you look to the upper left, what do you see? Sky and trees. And in my mind, I was so drawn to what's happening in the center of the piece here. And I thought, well, if I start from the upper left, essentially in the first 2 years, I'll be stitching trees and, skies. So, I couldn't do that clearly. So here we are. And it's perfectly fine. There's no reason why you shouldn't start from the center, as long as you don't miss any calculation, like do the wrong page or something. Then, I don't see why not. Because otherwise I'll still be stitching trees. Nothing wrong with trees. I want a kitten. And I've got a few other pieces that I start from the center as well. Probably about 4 or 5 of them. For some reason, I just go, let's just start from the most interesting part of the pattern. But some of them make sense to start from, you know, from upper left. But I've seen people going from bottom upwards, like bottom left. And I've seen people doing from upper right, any corner really. As long as it makes sense. Yeah, 1, 2. Let me bring it up. Oh, really, Crystal? I'm the first person you've seen starting from the middle. I'm sure other people do that as well. The only tricky part, it really depends on how you do it, because with this one, I'm literally tackling page by page, so everything is quite uniform. But I have other pieces, I literally just cross country outwards to all directions. So the only challenge I say would be if going toward, let's say, if I normally start from left to right, just where I stitch, it's my habit. If going the other way is going to create problems for you, then perhaps starting from the middle wouldn't be a good idea, because, you know, at some point you have to flow toward different directions. In order for you to stitch accurately, you could potentially, count your blocks and go to the start of the page and always start, from upper left to right, page by page. But there's a chance of miscalculation and it could be disastrous. So it's always a good idea to flow outwards toward whatever direction, I think. At least for me, because I'm disastrous when it comes to calculating, blocks. So I try not to wander too far. So that's the only thing. But if you are okay with that, literally you can start from, well, not random places, but from either corner or any of the 4 corners or center. Well, in fact, I remember before I started full coverage pieces like this size, I used to do like dimension or dimension gold kind of cross stitching kit, and they always advise you to start from the center, because then you know you're not gonna run out of fabric on the margin. So it really depends. Yes, I like starting from middle because you start from the juicy part of it. If you can't wait like me, a lot of people are very patient. They'll be stitching, acres of white or dark backgrounds for an eternity before they get to the center. But then they probably stitch a lot faster than me. For me to get to the juicy bits, we're talking years. So you have to make a decision there. Do that one. I haven't told you. And I'm looking forward to the point when I have to go from bottom up, you know, with those pieces that I start from the center. It'll be a nice challenge. I'm up for a challenge. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Anna, your alarm is going off in 4 hours. Yes, go to bed, go to bed. Everything is going to be in archive, so you're not going to miss anything. Other than you can't chat, but otherwise it's going to be there. Yeah, go to bed. And yeah, have a good night and enjoy your sleep. Have a peaceful rest. Nighty night. Crystal, absolutely. There's no police. If there are police, they I'm not talking to them. So yeah, just stitch in a way that you enjoy, that makes sense to you. And it will all be fine. It will all be fine. Hey Grace. Hello Grace. Yogi, Grace says, Yogi, now getting the chance to sit down and watch some of your beautiful stitching. I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's stitching. So you got half of that correct. Good to see you. Night night, Anna. Night night. Come back again soon. And I'm going to move over there a little bit there. So A14. A14. So this stitch will be a good example of, you know, where when you stitch in this method, this is where you need to exercise your discipline, because this stitch literally running downwards, every other stitch just go vertically down, and you kind of go, well, do I want to having to part down, you know, every other stitch and keep going like that? And the answer is yes. If you're sticking to Emma's method, that's what you do. So it's a choice. It's a choice. I could just wander off and start cross country. No one can stop me. But I don't want to. Let me see. Next one, 720. Oh, Grace, you've been to the discount, the sales day at the Heaven and Earth. You bought three. The little cake shop, dry flowers, and winter reading nook. Oh my God, we're starting to build up the same collection here. Lovely. So you can stitch with me because I stitch all these pieces on the stream. That's lovely. And which version did you go for? Did you go for the max colors? Well, you don't have to actually. Regular is just as good, or even mini. That's wonderful. So you can join me for those sessions, or every sessions, really. All of them, all of them. And it's always wonderful to stitch with someone that's stitching the same piece as you. It's fun, isn't it? You're at the different stages of the piece. And with the winter reading nook, I'm starting from the center with that piece as well. So it'll be interesting to know which corner you're starting from. And this one over here. And dry flower is such a beautiful piece, isn't it? It's just, every time I think about it, my heart melts a little bit. It's just such a beautiful piece. And 1, 2, 3, 4. A little cake shop, I start from the upper left, but it's such a fun piece to do wherever you go on the design. So I don't mind starting from the upper left with that one. One more here. Oh, River, are you referring to the method stitching now? It's Gemma's method. Let me see. No max. Grace saying no max for me. Regular patterns. I know. I'm so excited to get started. Wonderful, wonderful. You know what? I'm gonna start a Facebook group. In fact, I've got it set up. It's just Facebook is so fiddly. I need to sort of a few admin things before I can open that. Once we have that, I would love to see all of you posting the work you're working on, because there's some suggestions of using the community post, but that's a bit fiddly as well. So I think Facebook would be a good option. It'll be great to see your progress. And Rivers, this is Gemma's method. If you really want to know how to do it properly, go look up Gemma's channel. She's got great tutorial just walking you through. But in principle, there are only two major rules. One, the most key factor rule would be no floating stitches. So you probably notice. In theory, you shouldn't even have one sort of stitch sticking out. I'm just kind of bending the rule slightly. So you go diagonally, you just ease away from the edge, and the diagonal line doesn't have to be straight, but generally the upper corner will be higher than the bottom. something like that. And you just continue to move along this line and smooth it out, adding stitches, but no floating stitches. So anything that's away from, you know, 1 block away or above, you park. That's it. It's simple. It's quite simple, but it's like a puzzle game. You have to constantly make judgment calls in terms of where you take your threads to. So that's when, you know, I find it really fun. And the benefit of this way of stitching is that all your stitches are nice and flat. So if you're doing, come across sort of confetti area, then this is a great method because, you know, you're dealing with 1 stitch at a time. You're not, you know, try to fight against the pattern. So everything's really nice and smooth. But if you want to know, you know, the nitty-gritty, Gemma's Gemma Stitches is the channel name, would be the best. She's got like tutorial walkthrough of the method. So the attraction for me is obviously not to have any boxed in stitches, which makes stitching not very fun sometimes. Depends on the fabric count. Oh, in fact, I'm going to move this one down to the left. So you can make judgment calls like this. Like here. So this stitch is slightly out of order because in theory you should have completed the one on the left before you do this one, but I don't care. It's okay. Sometimes it's okay to bend the rules slightly, I think. And now I'm going to move it over. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Huh. Okay. And 4. I keep forgetting to mark where I park, so I kind of feel a bit confused on what these path threads are. Yep. 1, 2. 3. Okay. And Grace asks, do you leave a needle on your park threads? No. I have tried that, and I believe Emma does that frequently. She would have the needle threaded, you know, with a park thread, and she would park everything on, rest the needles with a thread threaded in on a piece of magnet or needle minder, that kind of thing. I tried it. It just doesn't work because I keep forgetting they're threaded, and I've got a habit of, you know, straightening my part threads here, so I get needles everywhere, flying everywhere, or stab myself, you know, all sort of disasters. So I decided that wasn't for me. But otherwise, I don't mind threading. I can thread it, the threads quite quickly, and I enjoy it, so I don't mind it. But I think if you don't enjoy threading, then fundamentally this is probably not the best sort of method for you, because a lot of threading is involved. Let me just see what's happening here. It's that. Why does it look different? Yes. And it's not unusual to have multiple threads of the same color. It really depends on where the color flows. So let's say this orange, if you look at the distribution of the stitches, they flow two different ways. You might create, plant two different threads, allow them to flow different ways. So these are the things you kind of pick up as you stitch. There's probably isn't a kind of a simple way to go, well, just do this. But yeah, once you get your head around, it's very relaxing, interesting way of stitching. Because constantly you have to, watch where the color flows. And it's fun. I think I'm gonna... Do I want to do these two? No, I'm gonna park. That one. Let me double check the color. 355. Yes, that's correct. I sense a little bit of runny nose coming. Please don't. I don't need it. And 3. Three, 2, 3, and I'm going to park it down here. 1, 2, 1, 2. I think I part that one incorrectly. This one should be 1, 2. 3, 4. Which one is this one then? Maybe this one. A14. caught in the wrong spot. And also I say that this method, for me anyway, if it works a lot better for larger stitches, maybe up to, I don't know, 20 counts. For some reason, it doesn't flow for me when I tried it on 25 counts. Maybe the stitch is just too fine. You don't really get to see, maybe you don't really get the benefit of this way of stitching when you stitch something like 25 counts, because 25 counts I actually don't mind boxed in stitches as much because the fabric tend to be quite soft, the needles are finer, one strand, so I'm happy to go cross country or other method, color completion. But if you try to do this for 25 counts, it kind of just feels very restricted in some way for me, and you don't really get a benefit of having, you know, this open area for stitches because it doesn't really matter as much. So, and Gemma mostly do 14 counts. I haven't seen her. Maybe she might have side pieces that she does that's 18 counts or 16 counts, but mostly she does 14. So I haven't seen her doing 25 counts. I think it's a choice. 3853. It's good fun doing it on 14, for instance. It's just, you can really see the stitches very, very clearly. So like a puzzle. Just one stitch here, this one. That's one. That's one bad looking tuck-in stitch. That's better. Three 853. I'll keep it going till about 2 a.m. over here. Midnight stitches. Three stitches here. And I think Gemma, she also does the, I can't remember what it's called, runner stitches. You do one leg first and then come back, completing the other leg. And I used to do that a lot more. And I still do it from time to time if I want to take the thread to a different direction. It's quite handy. Let's say if you want to, you know, stitch toward the right side, but you want to come back to the left, so you can start from the left one more time. Then instead of stitching all the way to the right and then drag the thread back, you just do one leg over to the right and then just take the thread back, so everything's nice and tucked in. So I do that from time to time, but less so with 25 counts. I like to complete the entire stitch as I move to different directions. It's just a preference. I follow kind of based on how it feels like. If it feels good, I do it. If not, if it feels weird, I don't. But I think 14 counts works quite well with so do one leg at a time and come back. It just feels, the stitches look very uniform. One more stitch here. And take it up here. Do that one. So there's a little bit of rule bending here. In theory, you shouldn't have two empty stitches there, but you know, flows with the color right now. I'm gonna just do that. 1, 2, 3, and then part to the right. And I'm gonna come back here. Do these ones first. What I love about this method is I know for sure as I move forward with a piece, I never have to go back to the path, the stitch area, to find unstitched stitches, if that makes sense. You know, I know everything I leave behind here is all stitched. There's something so satisfying about that. Three here, going to the left. Okay. I'm going to stitch one down here. And park over here. This part of the pattern is just so balanced in that sense that there's some color switches, so it's not monotone, but the switch is not so much that you kind of go, oh, seriously, you know, slow down. It's just a nice balance of color changes. It's quite nice when you come across an area that's like that. But with this pattern, you don't really get a lot of single color blocks. It's just how it's charted, you know. And I probably prefer that than those who tend to have sort of solid color for one block and then confetti the other. And a couple more stitches here. And I'm going to park. And park it over here. In theory, I could keep going, but I'm not going to. And few stitches of this color and this thread. Not much left, just a tiny bit. See if I can manage 3 more stitches with this piece of thread. It's always a game to see how much you can get out of the last piece. Maybe 2 more. And I'm going to tuck it in. Right, I'm going to go for one more color, and then I'll show you what I've done today. I think I'm gonna go for this one. A14. 814. In fact, no, I'm gonna introduce a new thread. A14. I get to do a loop start as well, which is always nice. Last color of the session. The last stitch before I need to park, according to the rule. I'm going to park below. There. Beautiful. Let me just quickly mark my stitches here, and I'm going to show you what I've done today. I'm going to zoom out here. So today, so up to the last session, I was working solely of the page on the bottom left here, and the original plan was to complete this page before I move out. But more I look at it, the more kind of I was slightly annoyed by that straight cut up line there, that kind of straight line there. So I wanted to kind of smooth it out and just follow the design underneath rather than the page border. So I think I've done the right thing, because now we have that, you know, transition into the other part of the little drawer there. So let me pull up the markup so you get to see where I am right now. So this is the full design markup there. So if you look in the middle where the kitty is and look to the bottom left of the kitty, and you see that little drawer there, that's where I am. So let me just quickly switch to get to see. Yeah, that's here. And there are a lot of details going on there that just through the markup you might not be able to see. There's a kind of ribbons coming out of the drawer, and this might be some sort of scissors. And with this piece, because there is back stitches, which means that, oh, I think they're kind of ribbons. They're really nice on top of the drawer there. So I get to do the back stitches, and once I apply the back stitches, there'll be so much details that the design is going to pop out so much more. And I can't wait to do the cat, the little kitten, which is why I dive straight to the center of the design, because I just couldn't wait. So I'm going to continue with the future sessions to complete gradually of the entire page. I feel so much better with this, because, you know, I just, the hard stop just didn't make sense. And now I can just gradually take the stitches over there and hopefully complete this section, and I will be able to come back and do the back stitches. So I'm going to show you my app as well, so you know how many stitches I've done. You know, there's little pictures here. I can't wait to add back stitches. It's going to pop out. Even now you can see the images inside the photos. That's just so sweet. So with my app here, let me just turn on my autofocus here so you can see. There you go. So where are you? Yes, now you can see it properly. So here, so that's where I am today on the page on the right there. The page on the left, where the main part of the cupboard is, obviously there's still more underneath, so I keep going. You can see there's back stitches on top of the back pattern as well. And today I have completed, let me see, this is the goal. I've completed 166. It might not sound like a lot, but this method is so methodical. And 166 is not too bad for a session today at all. So I'm sort of edging toward 10. Okay, it's 9.01. But I think I switched from 8 point something to 9, which is always fantastic. And so hopefully I'll gradually move toward two digits of the percentage. And a few more stitches to go. So that's my progress today. And let me just move this down a little bit so you get to see everything I've completed so far. There's a window outside, there's a water feature there, and there's a little book or card here. Oh, this piece is just so whimsical. I love it. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. Let me just quickly look at the chat here. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Bimakri. And yeah, it's looking really, really nice. I love it. And the stitches just feel so solid and beautiful. So it's right now, it's 9 minutes to 2 a.m. in London. And I hope you enjoyed today's session. I really do. And there's some really great chat going on there as well. So hopefully I'll come back. I think tomorrow. I have no idea which piece I'm going to be stitching. So it's going to be a surprise to you and a surprise to me as well. So with that, if you're watching playback, I hope you enjoyed today's session as well. You know, when you watch playback, you can always turn on the chat, and so you can recapture what has been said on the chat as well, which would be very helpful. A lot of things we learned today, and about pieces everybody's working on, and some new patterns, because Heaven and Earth is having a sale today. So go grab your patterns if you haven't already, half price bargain, and come back to stitch with me for the future sessions. So thank you everyone for contributing to the chat, and if you're watching the background, I hope you enjoy that too, and maybe pop in to say hello at some point whenever you're ready. No obligation there. You enjoy the content however you want to. So from here, from peaceful London, I'm going to sign out, and I hope you have enjoyed the beautiful rest of the day. But from London, it's 99 here. Good night, everyone. Night night. Have a great rest of the day.